Hello crafters, Raquel here with Paints and Glitter. Today I'm coming along to share with you how you can assemble the Eternal Love Lantern die set. This is a new set from Tonic Studios. Yours is going to come with a sleeve and it's going to have a full picture of the cover here and full instructions, but I'm going to share a version of this with you today. This comes with a total of 48 dies and you can create either a little lantern or a gift box using these, as well as cards or other items that you may want to create as far as like gift tags or add to your mini albums. That's up to you, of course, but today we're going to assemble one of the little votive boxes, and it's a wedding theme, so it's absolutely darling. It comes with all of the dies that you're going to see here, and what I can tell you is that you can create a drawer, so or as many as you like. This is the foundation piece for that, and so is this rectangle over here with a little tab on the side. So it has the little items that you can use to decorate the sides of the little drawers, and then of course it has the panel for the sides that are going to create the height of the lantern. And on that panel you can decorate yours whichever way you would like with the little rectangle that comes with it here. So for instance, if you just wanted to use decorative papers and not the included verso dies, then you could certainly do solid panels on the sides. You could create a little window into it. It has, of course, the beautiful feature of the bride and groom. So this is the bride here, and she is absolutely darling. So I'm going to share with you what that looks like, of course, but she also has a matching frame here, and then what you would do is take that panel out and then use the groom. So I'll share with you what that looks like. And so here's the groom, and then here's this other panel, and they're both decorative that you can use in place of the bride that you see here. So using that same frame, or even without it, you could use these two. So of course I'm going to share the samples for you to see. Then there are other features here, which are this square piece that you see here and the side panels that go with it, along with this top piece and these here. They create a top that's a really pretty shape, and that's what you see here in this picture. So we'll be making that one today, and of course that's optional. You can create a square top if that's what you choose to do. And the other unique features here are the little tags that also have the bride and groom, and those are just profile images that emboss into your paper. Absolutely darling. They go onto this little tag, so you could definitely just use the tag, and then it has these smaller ones that say Mr. and Mrs. So you could place those on here if you wish to, or you could use the smaller little tags here. It has two, one with a solid circle, the other one is a very gentle scallop, and then it also comes with a little banner, two little banner sentiments. It says celebrate with us and eternal love, and then there's a solid piece here, and also one with little hearts that will emboss into your paper, along with a little tag that's a heart shape. And then there's this little piece here and the circle. Those are going to be for a magnet closure if that's what you choose to use. If not, you can use this piece over here to create a little latch closure. And there are also little flowers that you can use to decorate it. So I'm going to walk through these pieces here, because these are also included in your set, and how these are going to work. So what I recommend is that you cut out the pieces and you burnish all of your folds before you get started. So to begin, you're going to be cutting 5 little squares, and these have this beautiful beveled edge. So let's start with one. You face it pretty side down. Then with this thinner die here, and there's 2 of them. There's one that's wider. The thinner one you're going to cut out 2 times and burnish your folds. And you're going to join these end to end to create one long strip that goes all the way around. So for the little tab that's on the side here, just place your adhesive and join those 2 together. You're going to want to fold the corners like that, and take your little square, and on 3 edges add your Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, just on 3, and you're going to place, starting on one edge, your tab here. Take a second square and add it to the top. Place your adhesive on those 3 sides again. And joining the corners, make sure you get a nice tack there. And apply a little bit of pressure, and then do the same on the other 2 sides. Once all 3 of those sides are adhered, go ahead and place adhesive on your last little tab and the 2 sides so that you can close this. Okay, maybe pinch it and then push it in. Go. And then just apply some gentle pressure here to make sure that this is nicely closed off. Okay. And once that's tacked together, you're going to set it aside and let it dry. And these are using this wider die here. It looks just like the other one. And you're going to also burnish and fold all of your little fold lines there that are scored with the die. And you're going to notice that it has a small tab that's straight, and then another one at a little bit of an angle, and that's on all pieces here. So adhere the one that's straight first. Once that little piece is dry, go ahead and fold your paper. Apply adhesive to the next tab here, and you want to make sure you join this at an angle. So hold on to it as it dries. And then you're going to repeat that step as you've done here, holding this paper at an angle. You're going to do the same thing on this fold and on this one. And once those are joined, I'll be right back, share with you what that looks like. Once those 3 sides are dry, go ahead and join the last portion here. So do the straight angle first. Once you've completed adhering all 4 of those sides, go ahead and apply adhesive to the tabs and place the little box that you had just created right on top. Just apply gentle pressure, and now you flip that upside down and take this smaller die, cut out 4 pieces of card. You're going to see that there is a tab on each one, so fold the tab away and then adhere these on opposite sides, so facing the tabs away from each other. They should look like that, and you're going to do that twice, adhering only one portion of that. so that the little tabs can fold away from each other. So you open those up and then place those together. So it should create something that looks like a small windmill. So you'll be able to follow the curves on the paper so that you have all those little tabs facing up. That goes right inside, and then you can apply adhesive to those small tabs. Make sure that this stays centered. Push down the wider tabs of your square box, and then place yet another square piece of card right on top, and that should seal that. Now, using these two dies, you're going to create the small drawer if that's something that you want to add to your lantern, and of course you make as many as you like. So folding all of the fold lines or the score lines away from you, two of these pieces are going to create the actual drawer, so just overlap the square portion of that die cut. Those adhere together, and now you have little side tabs that are going to also stick together to create the sides of your drawer. I've used red line adhesive, but I also supplement it with the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. It creates a really nice strong tack. And these overlapping portions here are actually going to make your little drawer more sturdy, so those fold inside. And of course you could use these separately if you wanted to without using them for the lantern, and this could help you create little boxes that maybe you could fill with small candies and put on a table. Now these two pieces will overlap. They adhere end to end, so as you can see, the long tab there will adhere to the next one. It's going to create one long piece of card that has score lines that you will then close. So adhere them end to end again. Now this is going to create a sleeve for your little drawer. Super simple. Now this is going to create the top or the lid of your lantern. So go ahead and cut out 4 pieces of that triangular paper, and then the matching or corresponding layers. They do emboss, or the die embosses right into that paper, makes it very pretty. And then this square piece here has fold lines. The ones closest to the square in the center are mountain folds, and then the lines further away are actually valley folds. They also have 4 little tabs on the sides that are going to create also almost like a box type of fold there. So if you see, the little tabs adhere side to side, and now the ones that are on the outermost side of that square are going to adhere to that triangular piece on the narrow edge. And these also have side tabs that you want to glue to the piece right next to it. And that's going to create that type of domed effect. So just make sure that you hold those papers nicely, allow them time to dry. And now here's the second little box that you would have created the same way you did the first one, and that's going to adhere to the bottom of that domed lid. It fits perfectly there. Just apply gentle pressure again, and if you want to color the sides as I did, now would be the time to do that. Now this is a decorative portion for the top that allows you to thread a ribbon or the little tags included in your die set. This is going to fold away from you, so it has little tabs on the side that have the little holes in that paper. Those overlap, so I hope you can see that here. And then the longer tab folds right on top. So again, place your adhesive on the 2 little tabs, and then the one that's longer goes right on top. you're going to now feed this portion into the piece of paper that cuts out using the square die with the square opening in the center. You do have to be gentle here and just pull on that paper on the corners so that way it'll feed in. Once you have that piece in there, you can now fold away the 4 tabs that are left on the inside or underneath. Fold them away and tack them right onto that square paper. Now you can also place a decorative layer onto this. So what I did was I adhered mine first onto the lid, and now I took that other one that I had cut out of mirror card and gently pulled on the little corners, and I was able to place that on top. Now these are the sides of your lantern. I'm showing you here the 3 options that you have to decorate this. However, you can do this in many different styles. I've cut layers using mirror card, and some of them I cut into with that little decorative panel in the center, as you can see there. I also did it in white pearlescent card, and others I left solid so that I could then layer the groom and the bride right on top, and those were also cut out of white cardstock. If you see there, it gave that nice shiny shadow by overlapping those. Now the way that I decided to place these onto that mirror card was to slightly overlap the papers so that it would create a bit of a shadow effect on the intricate portion that's cut, and you'll be able to see that also in the pictures at the end. But because of that slight overlap, I had some leftover silver card on the edge, and all I did was to cut that away. And this is of course personal preference. You don't have to, but I thought it would give it a nice finish to have the entire edge be white. And using Craft Perfect foam adhesive, I just placed these on the back and then right onto that rectangular die cut. It's going to create the base of that lantern. All of the fold lines, by the way, on those rectangular cuts are you can fold away from yourself. And the Craft Perfect foam adhesive is also available in white. I just happen to be using the black, and it didn't cast a shadow on the paper or anything, so no problems there. Now these are the other 2 sides. I overlapped them the same way that I did the bride and groom. I cut away the silver card on the edge, and then I adhered these onto vellum that's also available from Tonic Studios, just to create a soft finish on the back. And these are actually also going to create the windows to this lantern. So you'll see in a moment how I cut that away from the background. So these 2 pieces are going to actually be cut into, and that is the versatility of those Verso dies. You can cut into the background without cutting the edge. So using low tack adhesive, I place these right on top, line them up the same way. There's my piece of paper, and now I could have placed the vellum behind it, but in this case I just placed it on top because I layered all 3 of those pieces, then placed it onto the base. So that's also just a different option. So here I'm just adhering the edges and tacking it on. And once there's a tea light inside, the light will be seen through that vellum, and it looks very soft and pretty. And all 4 of these panels now get adhered with that side tab. So it's easier to do it flat onto the table first. So I then staggered, or alternated I should say, the decorative panels with the bride and groom, and then with the fold tabs on the bottom, I can now adhere this right onto that little drawer that we had created just by placing adhesive on the edges. And then on the drawer you have decorative panels that you can also use. I opted for the one that matched the decorative panel on top, layered that onto white card by cutting it out of the silver card. And there's also the little sentiment banners, and those can hide the little notches on the paper. So what I did was I used dimensional adhesive, and I selected or opted to place these where the bride and the groom are on the lantern. And I did cut those little banners out of holographic paper. Then I went back and added the little decorative strips that do have little hearts embossed right into them. Those are also using the silver mirror card from Tonic Studios, and I thought that gave it a nice cohesive look. And of course you could use any color that you like, so depending on the theme of the wedding that this would be for, then you can opt for any color at all. I just thought that the silver and gray would look very pretty together, as it's very elegant. So here's more of that gray pearlescent card, and then gray on top of silver, and this is going to create the little pull tab for the drawer. It also embosses a little heart right onto the paper, which is very pretty. And on the back, I decided to place a gray piece of card. This all goes onto that dome shape that we had created. And on the top, the little pieces of, or the edges there, I did fold in and adhere, so that should have been done prior, but you may want to do that before you assemble the lantern. Now here, these little circles you can cut out using a die from the set that you see there on the table. I adhered a small magnet onto them and then adhered those circles with that magnet, aiming toward the little notch on the lantern that you see there. So that little magnet becomes sandwiched between the paper and the lantern there. Then this other piece of card that you can cut also using the die in the set is going to hide your second magnet. So you see there, I'm cutting away the portion that is going to lay right on top. And then those little tabs, which are right now being held by the magnet, are going to adhere to the lid. So you do this as you're comfortable, but there you see how those two tabs are adhered to the lid. However, they do have a little magnet sandwiched inside, which matches the one on the actual lantern. So with a total of 4 small magnets, I was able to create that closure. And now I am also using the little tags with the profiles of the bride and groom. I decided to place these onto white cardstock. However, one of them is pearlescent, the other is not. And the one with the groom, I also embellished with a silver marker from Tonic Studios just on the edge. This is a bullet marker available from Tonic Studios, so I'll list that below also. They're very pretty, and it's also what I use to decorate the sides of part of this box along with the Nuvo drop. Now to thread these tags onto the box lid, I just use 3mm wide silver ribbon, also available from Tonic Studios. And you can definitely purchase this in different colors as well to coordinate with your project. And you'll see in a little bit how I also use this ribbon to decorate a bauble that I created using this die set. So you can use this in different ways. Now the ribbon knot, just to let you know, I hid inside of that little bit of card there, so it makes it for a nice finish. So I just made sure that my little tags were facing the correct way, and then I cut away the excess of that knot, and again hiding that right inside of there. So wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. And there are the bride and groom, and I did decorate these little tags using flowers that are available in this kit. Those little flowers are very nice and delicate, so you can of course place as many as you like. What I opted to do was to add a Nuvo drop to the on the center of the flowers, as you see there in the pink, to match the flowers on the bride. And there's just a little sample of what you could fit inside, of course. So you could place these on tables at a wedding. But now let me show you the card. For this card, I've decided to go with a 6x6 base that I created using 110-pound cardstock. Just cutting a piece of 6x6 card and then another one at 6 and 6.5. You can score it at the 1/2 inch mark, fold it over and adhere it to your base. Super simple. Then I've taken a piece of silver card and cut that down to just slightly under 6x6, and using the silver damask flowered paper from Tonic Studios here, which is a specialty card, I think is absolutely stunning. Go ahead and place this here. And for a card that's a wedding card, if you're going to a formal wedding, black tie event, I think this would be a perfect color palette. That's what had me thinking of this. So this is going to fit perfectly all the way around. And this panel here, so I cut into it using that floral verso die. This is going to be backed up with a piece of vellum, and then I'm going to cut away the edge. So super easy here. Let's go around the perimeter. This is Craft Perfect card in white. And then using the vellum, just going to line this up at the corner. Burnish. And you have a moment to get it aligned, but if you can't, just take your scissors and cut away any excess around the border. Just following the vellum. Okay. Should give you a nice clean edge. And then I've taken a piece of white pearlescent card from Tonic Studios, and that's cut down to 5.5 by 4 3/4 inches. I originally thought I'd do the vellum in that size, but instead I figured I should frame this out with that beautiful pearlescent card just to make it look much more finished than it did before. And here, because this is vellum and vellum has a tendency to shrink, then I'm not placing too much adhesive, so that way the vellum doesn't react to the water in the adhesive. Of course, you could leave this to dry overnight if you wanted to for a really nice flat finish. Then I've cut out the bride and groom out of silver card and then backed it up with Craft Perfect white cardstock. It gives such a beautiful finish, and I'm going to, these are only 2 millimeters thick, so it's not too bulky to mail. But of course, if you're presenting it in person, then it's even easier. But I'm just going to add these. Stick to my fingers every single time. But it's good, it's good, really good adhesive. So that's the good news there. Okay, so I can put these here. And so as to not have difficulty peeling it, I like to use this tool because of preserves my nails for... Okay, so now I'm just going to aim here, try to make sure that I get this nice and centered. Come in white, by the way. I just happen to have them in black, and I'm not bothered by this because the little bit of shadow that it might create is welcome in this occasion because of it being a black and white card, or silver and white. But it doesn't really... The paper behind it is not mirror card, so it's not reflecting any color, and that's fine. But this is going to go here, and I'm just going to try to center it as best as I can. Just what's necessary, not too much. Comes together so nicely. Now here's the little heart tag. This came with this die set, and I've cut it out of, as you can tell, silver card, and then I also took some white damask paper that I had used on another project that I'm going to show you in just a moment. I'm just going to stagger these so that the silver shows right behind the white heart. I'm placing this right on top, and I'm going to just let it look as if it's falling. I'm going to adhere this. Just a little drop of adhesive will do. And then I'm going to put a little silver ribbon right on top. This is 3mm wide ribbon, and it comes in several different colors from Tonic Studios. Of course, this one matches that specialty paper perfectly. However, if you wanted to, you could get the specialty card in a different color and then match up the ribbon as well in the coordinating color, so that if you have a wedding theme in particular that you want to follow, then you can absolutely do that. And then on here I can place a little flower. I think I'm going to go with one of the smaller ones. This also came with the set. I'm using hot glue only because of the dimension here and the fact that I am using ribbon, and I'm trying to lay that a little bit flat actually. And this completes this card. I think it looks absolutely elegant and gorgeous. On the inside, of course, I can now finish it off with another piece of pearlescent paper, or even more of this damask paper, and then put the white paper on top for the sentiment. So that's definitely a good way to go. So I'll repeat that on the inside, and then that will complete my card. The next little project that I made, however, with this set, aside from the gorgeous lantern that I shared with you and the card that I just showed you how to make, was this little ornament that I managed to make. And I have made this using the same exact die set. As you can see here, here's the Mr. and Mrs. with the little circles included in the set. The ribbon I just tied in tiny little bows there, and then this portion on the top here is the same as you see here on the lantern. All I did was repeat it on the bottom, and then using another die set from Tonic Studios that makes a purse, I made this little tassel, added a pearl, and then used the same exact ribbon. All I did was tie it down here. All of this is matched together nicely with this lantern and the card. What I did was here, if you can tell, this is the groom, and then here is the bride. I cut the images out of pearlescent card from Tonic Studios. Then I took a separate die set with concentric ovals. I created frames using the black pearlescent card from Tonic Studios, and then I did go around the edge with a dual dot marker in black pearl, so that way it would have a lighter gray and then the dark black. There's also the glitter drops in White Blizzard throughout this project, so I did put it on the bride's veil on here. I put little gems and pearls all the way around. And then here's the white damask paper. This is also a specialty paper from Tonic Studios. And to make it all cohesive, what I did was that I took a Nuvo crystal drop, and it happens to be in liquid mercury. I used this with a paintbrush, and I painted the gray, the dark gray that you see on the paper here, or the lighter gray, I'm sorry, and then down here as well. All of this has been painted with Nuvo drops and then followed up on the very edge with that glitter drop so that it would have a nice pretty shine. Then the other thing that I did here was that I cut the squares that are used for the bottom of this here. I cut it 4 times, and then I did make myself a little hinge, if you will, on the inside just to join these. So that was just a 1/2 inch piece of paper that would adhere to both sides of the squares, so that way they would be all together all the way around. And then I just adhered them to the edge of that little square that's the same as you see here. So basically the square paper was adhered to the outside edge there, and then I copied the bottom, and that was it. It was super easy to make. These little hearts are from a slimline die from Tonic Studios. I just thought that that would look really nice there. But of course, if you were giving this as a gift to the bride and groom for their first Christmas together, for instance, then you could definitely put on here the date of the wedding. Their initials would be really pretty. And I think it would be a wonderful gift set to present at a wedding because it's so elegant. And of course, as I've mentioned before, you can match the colors to the wedding. And yeah, I think this is a lot of fun to put together. There is a lot of cutting to be done, but it's so well worth it. Of course, the top here I made as a magnetic closure, but you don't have to do that. You can just use the other type of closure and then put a little ribbon through it or a little piece of rolled up paper. And I'm going to take pictures, of course, so that you can see the full effect. But this has been a lot of fun to use. It's an absolutely fantastic set. I highly recommend it for any kind of elegant projects that you might have in mind, any type of gift giving or wedding type of decor that you might be looking to make. Let me know what you think. And as I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching.